2023 Hyundai Kona, courtesy of Jack Giambalvo Hyundai in York, PA. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So we are in this one today because the 2023 Kona now has more standard features than the 2022. We'll be going over that in this video. Not only that, this is rated by Consumer Reports as one of the top 10 most reliable vehicles in existence right now. It's basically a bunch of Toyotas and Lexuses, and then you got the Kona smack dab in the middle of it all, so that's pretty cool. You get 3 years or 36,000 miles of complimentary maintenance as well. I definitely love that on my Sonata that I have right now. And you get America's Best warranty, being 5 years, 60,000 mile bumper to bumper, 10 years, 100,000 miles on the powertrain. So a ton of peace of mind for you there as well. So ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so as you can imagine, there are several different trim levels for the 2023 Kona. First one being the SE, starting at $21,990. SEL, which is the one we are in today, starting at $23,800. N-Line for $27,700, and the Limited for $28,800. By the way, that was all pricing for the front wheel drive configuration. If you wanted to add all-wheel drive, you can do that. To any of those trim levels, simply add $1,500 then. And by the way, prices are actually $145 less than the 2022 model year. That's the first time I've seen that for the 2023 reviews that I've done so far. Typically they're around $500 to $800 more than the previous year because of inflation right now, but $145 less. Well done, Hyundai. I give you credit for that. But anyways, then touching on the power plants, as you can imagine with all of those trim levels, there are a couple different options when it comes to the power plants for the Kona. First one being a 2-liter naturally aspirated inline 4-cylinder. This engine is going to belong to the SE and SEL trims like we have today. 147 horsepower at 6,200 RPM, 132 pound-feet of torque coming in at 4,500 RPM. Power sent to front wheels or all wheels through an IVT, and by the way, that's new for 2023. Previously in the 2022 model year for this engine configuration, that was a 6-speed automatic. Nonetheless, 0 to 60 time is going to come in at approximately 9.2 seconds, with MPG numbers coming in at 30 in the city, 35 on the highway for the front wheel drive, 28 in the city, 33 then on the highway for the all-wheel drive, taking regular unleaded fuel. But so then there is that other engine configuration belonging to the N-Line and the Limited trims. That one is powered by a 1.6 liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder, putting out 195 horsepower at 6,000 RPM, 195 pound-feet of torque coming in at 1,500 RPM, again sent to front wheels or all wheels, but this time through a 7-speed dual clutch with paddle shifters. That is a pretty substantial difference. Essentially what that means is you're gonna get insanely quick reacting times with the paddle shifter, so it's gonna be fun to drive there, and insanely quick shifting times in general, because that's what a dual clutch is. They're amazing transmissions when it comes to performance, at least. 0 to 60 time, approximately 6.6 seconds, so substantially quicker. MPG numbers coming in at 29 in the city, 35 on the highway for the front wheel drive, 27 in the city, 32 then on the highway for the all-wheel drive. But again, taking regular unleaded fuel. Well done, Hyundai, for that. But anyways, before we do any kind of fun acceleration test here in the Kona, I wanted to mention to you guys the drive modes. There's actually a circular dial located just to the left of the shifter that's going to give you normal, sport, and smart, adjusting things like the shift points, throttle response, and the steering sensitivity. And like I said, if you go with the upgraded 1.6 liter turbocharged engine, you're going to get paddle shifters as well. So anyways, we don't have those paddle shifters, so what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find a straightaway. I'm going to put it in that fun driving mode, aka sport, and let's do a quick little acceleration here, and let's see how quickly we can get our new 2023 Hyundai Kona here up to speed in the rain. All right, let's just do it here. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, no slipping. First, I want to say that we do have the all-wheel drive, so that's nice. Definitely holding the RPMs at a higher level. It's definitely on the slower side of things, if I'm being completely honest. Keep in mind, we don't have the upgraded engine, and this is the naturally aspirated engine, which more than likely is going to be a heck of a lot more reliable. Probably both of them are going to be fine according to Consumer Reports, but still, this is going to be the more reliable engine. So typically when you get those more reliable engines, you do tend to sacrifice acceleration slightly. So having said that, it's kind of on the slower side of things. And I think everybody knows that from that 0 to 60 number. But anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. And so up front, you will find 11-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 10.3-inch solid rear discs. As far as that 60-0 stopping distance goes, it's going to come in at 132 feet, which quite honestly isn't the best, but let's go ahead and let's get a little bit faster and let's hit the brakes Braking feel is actually really good. I think I might have said that last year, I don't remember, but braking feel is 100% on the firmer side of things, so despite that number, I would be perfectly fine with this just because the braking feel is on the firmer side of things. So it does feel like that 60-0 number should be in the lower 120s because it feels really good, if I'm being quite honest. So I don't know where I got that number from. It was probably Motor Trend, but throw it out the window because the braking feel is absolutely 100% on point here in the Kona. But anyways, then touching on suspension and handling, up front you're gonna get a McPherson strut front suspension, but the rear suspension is going to differ pretty substantially. So for the front wheel drive configuration, you're going to get a torsion beam rear axle. For the all-wheel drive configuration, you're going to get an independent multi-link rear suspension. So you're going to get better handling, better ride quality if you go with the all-wheel drive, just because you get the independent multi-link rear suspension. So wanted to mention that. But anyways, gas pressurized shock absorbers as well. As far as ride quality goes, it's fine. It's pretty much as you would expect the Kona to ride like. So I've had absolutely no issues. As far as steering feel goes, let me actually put it in sport driving mode. It's still kind of on the looser side of things. It does kind of make the steering feel a bit heavier when you put it in that sport driving mode, as expected, like I alluded to, and it is a noticeable difference, but still it's kind of on the softer side of things, or the lighter side of things when it comes to that steering feel. So it's pretty much as you would expect the Kona to feel like there. Touching on cabin noise, that's been perfectly fine in my short test drive here today. I know in a lot of Hyundais in the past, you get a little bit of road noise, or wind noise, I should say, at higher speeds, but I didn't even notice it so far in the Kona test drive that I've done here, and I've gotten over 50 miles per hour. So actually cabin noise is pretty much on point for this one. Touching on visibility, I can see perfectly fine out the back. Definitely not going to have any issues with a smaller SUV like the Kona anyways. But so that about rounds out the performance segment of this review, guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2023 Hyundai Kona. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2023 Hyundai Kona, finished in ultra black, in case you were curious of our exterior color name. That is what they call it. But let's go ahead and start up front as always. Hyundai logo is sitting, of course, just in front of the hood. I know a couple years ago it was sitting within the front grille, so I do like the new look sitting on the hood there. Front air curtains, you can see those to the bottom corners there, helping direct air around the wheel and tire combination, so a little better aerodynamics there. If you were to go with that end line, that's actually going to give you a unique front fascia, so it is going to be pretty substantially different than what you're currently looking at right now. To the sides, you're going to get projector-style halogen headlights for all trim levels but the limited, because of course the limited trim level is going to give you LED headlights coming standard. And by the way, when it comes to the location of the headlights, as the rain picks up here, headlights are actually going to be located just below, whereas the daytime running lights are going to be located on the upper portion there, in case you were curious. So headlights are kind of just in the middle there. So I wanted to mention that as well. Automatic feature, of course, coming with this headlights, meaning when it starts to get dark and at night, they will turn on automatically for you there. And if you were to go with the limited, you're also going to get automatic high beams as well. So if you have your high beams on at night, and since it's a vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams. Then when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically then bump it back up to high beams for you though. But that pretty much rounds out the front end of this one. Actually really looks good in my personal opinion. I love the look of the Kona. But anyways, let's now go ahead and make our way to the side of this one. But now making our way to the side of the Kona. Roof rails are going to come on the SEL trim level and up. Rear privacy glass coming again on the SEL trim level and up, and that's why we have it there today. Floating roof line towards the back. You can't really tell because it's black and we have a black exterior, but that is going to be there as well. Black window surrounds also coming standard. Then taking a look at the side mirrors, they are body colored power adjustable side mirrors, but now standard for all trim levels for 2023. This is another one of those changes for this year. Heated with LED integrated turn signals, also going to come standard for all trim levels. That didn't come standard for 2022, so I wanted to mention that. Matte black fender surrounds are going to come standard on all trim levels but the end line, because the end line again is going to change them to body colored fender surrounds and side skirts, really body colored accents all the way around this thing. Then taking a look at the wheel configuration, 16-inch alloys for the SE, 17-inch alloys for the SEL, and then 18-inch alloys for the end line and the limited. And I actually really like the design of the wheels that we have on our SEL trim level here today. So anyways, that pretty much rounds out the side profile here. Let's now go ahead and make our way to the back. All right, so but now since we are around to the back of the Kona here, body colored shark fin antenna all the way to the top. Just below that, rear spoiler with an integrated brake light. Just below that, rear window wiper. LED taillights, if you wanted them, are going to come on the limited trim level only. Of course, you got some all-wheel drive badging back there on the lift gate if you were to go with an all-wheel drive trim level. Nice silver accenting towards the bottom portion of that rear fascia. Then I did want to mention there is a rear diffuser if you go with the N-line trim level. Obviously, we don't have that with us here today. But single exhaust outlet tucked away there on the passenger side underneath. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next. As always, here is that exhaust clip. Alright, so but now since we are around to the back of the Kona, when it comes to opening that rear tailgate, it is a manual tailgate that just comes standard for all trim levels across the board. Once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 19.2 cubic feet behind that second row. If that was not enough space, of course, there is a 60-40 split, meaning the rear seats do fold down, bumping that up to 45.8 cubic feet. There, of course, is some cargo lighting back there. There actually are grocery bag hooks back there as well. There is a cargo cover. You have some tie-down anchors. There is a little bit of kind of indented storage on the right side in the back there. And if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you are actually going to find a spare tire, which I personally prefer as opposed to the fix-a-flat. So I did want to mention that as well. And there is a little bit of storage. I guess you could put an ice scraper in there as well. So anyways, very nicely done. Then making our way up to the rear legroom, that is going to come in at 35.2 inches. So for reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in those back seats there. And they are reclining, by the way, so that is pretty cool. A little added comfort there. Rear center armrest with cup holders does come standard. However, there is no rear ventilation, but there is a USB charging port. I don't remember seeing that on the 2022 Kona, so that may be yet another change for the 2023. So big fan of that. A little bit of storage next to that as well. Then making our way up to the front seats, cloth seating coming with the SE, SEL, and N-line trims. However, Limited is going to give you leather seating if you were interested. 8-way power driver seat for the SEL trim level and up, which by the way, was only available on the N-line trim level and up for 2022. So yet another small change for 2023 there. Heated front seats for the N-line and the Limited. And overall, as far as seat comfort goes, it was plenty fine. Nothing really crazy, but it'll definitely get the job done. I personally didn't have any issues there. Let's take a look at the steering wheel. It is tilt and telescoping. It is leather wrapped for the N-line, Limited, and then optional for the SEL if you wanted the leather wrapped, but we don't have that option, so we do get it wrapped in urethane. That's what you guys are looking at. Then make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key. You got your Hyundai logo on the one side, and when you flip it over, lock, unlock, and actually that circular button, that's going to be remote start, so that's pretty cool as well, and that's for the SEL trim level and up, along with keyless entry with a push button start for the SEL trim level and up as well. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located just by the driver's right knee. And so once started up, now the gauge cluster is going to differ again amongst the trim levels. So if you were to go with the N-line or the Limited, you're going to get a 10.25 inch digital gauge cluster, and that's going to look absolutely amazing. If you don't, if you go with the SE or SEL trims, you're going to get what you're currently looking at. Tachometers on your left, speedometers on your right. There's a small digital display front and center to control what is on that digital display. There are steering wheel mounted controls found on the right side of the steering wheel, giving you things like a digital speedometer, which looks pretty darn cool. Nice little background graphic there. That's probably what I would leave it on. There's also tire pressure information, how many miles you have left until you hit empty, of course. When you need your next oil change, the list goes on. So I'm going to leave it on that digital speedometer. I think that looks pretty darn cool. But now let's go ahead and make our way to overall interior quality. If you wanted a power sunroof, go with the Limited. That's the only way you're going to get it. Black headliner is going to come with the N-line. Black interior accents also with that N-line, along with alloy foot pedals. Wireless phone charger is going to come on the N-line, Limited, and optional for the SEL. Automatic climate control, same thing. N-line, Limited, and optional for the SEL. Auto dimming rear view mirror with HomeLink controls coming with the Limited trim level only. There is also a overhead sunglass holder. It's going to come standard on all trim levels. Just in front of the shifter, you're going to get a couple USB charging ports, a 12-volt power outlet, and a little bit of rubberized storage up there. I do want to also mention to the right of the shifter, that little lock button, that's going to lock this thing in all-wheel drive if you're driving through the snow here in PA, perhaps. That's what I do on my Santa Fe, at least. Just behind the shifter, you have dual cup holders, and within the center armrest, a little bit of storage, pretty much as expected there. So overall, everything's kind of on the basic side, if I'm being honest. Everything from the door handles to the doors themselves. So it'll get the job done, though. For the price point and for the reliability that this thing gives you, I'm not too worried about it. But let's take a look at the infotainment screen. This is where Hyundai always crushes it. So 8-inch color touchscreen display coming with the SE and SEL. That's what you guys are looking at. But 10.25 inch color touchscreen display coming with the N-line, Limited, and that's going to be optional on the SEL. But either way, you get Bluetooth and audio streaming, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. But if you go with the SE or SEL, the 8-inch screen, essentially, you get wireless Android Auto Auto and Apple CarPlay. So a lot of manufacturers will just give you wireless Apple CarPlay right now, but Hyundai, for the 8-inch screen at least, gives you both wireless Android Auto for my phone and Apple CarPlay as well. So that is pretty darn cool. I absolutely love that. Well done, Hyundai. I still don't know why they don't put it on the 10.25-inch screen, but I still love it that it's on the 8-inch screen. So anyways, you can also check out your radio information up there, of course. And when it comes to the sound systems, there's 2 of them. 6 speakers is going to come with the SE, SEL, and N line. Then with the Limited, you're going to get an 8-inch Harman Kardon sound system. So what do you guys say? I think you know what we have to do next. Let's go ahead and turn on the radio, see what we got playing today, and let's test out our 6-speaker sound system that we have with us here today.
You got me so down, wishing you were mine.
Hey, it's okay. It sounds like a 6-speaker sound system. It's pretty much as I expected. The bass isn't the most I've ever heard. Clarity was pretty decent for 6 speakers, but it sounds like a 6-speaker sound system. I'm just going to put it that way. But anyways, last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen is when you do put the Kona in reverse, you will find a rear view camera that does come standard for all trim levels across the board, letting you know who or what is behind you, which is always going to lead us into safety. And so front side curtain airbags do come standard. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system. But then also coming standard, and there's more upgrades here, blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert. That's newly standard for 2023. It did not come standard on 2022, so that's pretty cool. Forward collision avoidance assist with pedestrian detection, lane following assist, lane keep assist, driver attention warning system, safe exit warning as well. And then if you were to go with the Limited, that is going to add to that rear parking sensors, highway driving assist, which is kind of like Hyundai's level 2 autonomous driving system, and high beam assist as well. So overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the Kona, excellent reliability, especially with our naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine that we have with us here today. America's best warranty as well. Not that you really need it because of the reliability ratings by Consumer Reports. 3 years of free maintenance is going to save you some money there as well. N-line styling personally would be my preference when it comes to styling, at least, because you get the body colored accents. Having said that, it's not necessary for me, but I do like the body colored accents on this thing. Great price point, great starting price point as well. Of course, you add the all-wheel drive, it's another $1,500, and I probably would because I live in PA and we get snow quite a bit, but still great starting price point nonetheless. As far as room for improvement goes, of course, this base engine is going to be slow, but if you wanted more power, it is available, so I can't really knock it for that. The only thing I could really think of is magic seats, kind of like Honda HR-V does in the back where it flips up kind of like a pickup truck would. I think that's pretty darn cool. There's a ton of utility there, and you could put larger things or animals, maybe a Great Dane or a Mastiff back there if you wanted to like that. So anyways, I would add that, Hyundai, if you're watching this. And that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think of the Kona in the comments section below.